An absent AEW star returns with a major gimmick change. Plus, WWE reacts to Rey Fenix's inhumane treatment allegations against AEW. And are WWE bringing back the Winged Eagle? It's all in the Cultaholic Wrestling News right now. Timeless Toni Storm is no longer timeless.
She is not returning on last night's special Winter is Coming edition of Wednesday Night Dynamite. The timeless gimmick is gone. So following Mariah May's successful defense of her Women's World title against Mina Shirakawa, to close the show, Toni Storm's entrance music played, but it's the OG Toni Storm. It's the glasses and the hat and the red and everything. She's got her old entrance music back, and then Mariah May just looking on in disgust as the show comes to an end. This is something that I don't think many of us expected. To me, I thought it was an obvious next step that we would see timeless Toni Storm evolve that character, add something new to it, and obviously she dropped the women's title, and then she went away and she did some non-AEW shows as well, and she lost those matches. So I was like, okay, she's going to come back and she's going to be more unhinged than ever. She's going to be crazy, the makeup all down the face. She's going to be an absolute nutter. But instead, she's gone back. And I think this is really brave. I think this is really, really brave of them to do, because Timeless Toni Storm was such a popular, brilliant character. Loved it. I think she absolutely nailed it. She got so into it as well. She was an absolute joy to watch. So to not continue with that or evolve that character, I think is a brave step. And it's something that I've seen a bit of criticism of, because they've taken away a character that was so successful. However, in wrestling history, we have seen every wrestling company bleed things dry. They have bled and I don't know, I'm milking and bleeding, same thing.
This is right? How you're bleeding. I seek doctor's advice.
And until we're fed up of it. In this case, they've taken something away that means that we're going to miss it. We're going to be really, really reminiscent and nostalgic for this really great thing that happened in wrestling, which is no more. And I think she'll be really successful under the old guys, the original like Toni Storm character. So yeah, I think it's a brave step, but I think it's cool. I think it's cool that they've done it.
Fans of wrestling bollocks are devastated, but the developers of AEW Fight Forever are delighted, because it means their game is up to date once again. Well done, lads, we've made it.
What do you think?
I'm going to miss Timeless Toni Storm. Loved it. My favourite bit of wrestling is when wrestling's inherently bollocks, and I enjoyed the character and the portrayal, and it was something so different. But yeah, like you say, I'd rather something be there for a short and sweet burst, and then me miss it, than it just be dragged out and get too long in the tooth.
Yeah, because then if you do that, if you do drag it out and it gets dull, you look back at the whole thing sometimes going like, oh God, that was annoying, wasn't it? In this case, it was just a brilliant period of time, and Toni Storm just killed that character in a nice way. She nailed that character. She was so thoroughly entertaining to watch, fully immersed herself in that persona. And yeah, I'll miss it. It doesn't mean it won't come back down the line, does it? But when it does come back down the line, we'll be happy to see it come back rather than, this again.
Yeah. I'm
all for it.
As Timeless Toni Storm comes to an end, AEW World's End is on the horizon. Last night we had on Dynamite Winter is Coming, a tag match with Moxley and Pac against Orange Cassidy and Jay White, with Hangman Page getting involved, and brawls between all the parties involved, leading to Jon Moxley wiping out Cassidy, wiping out White, wiping out Hangman Page with Death Riders, and then offering them all a Christmas present, a fatal four-way match for the AEW World title.
Absolutely. So at World's End, your, I assume, main event is going to be Jon Moxley defending the AEW World title against OC, JW, and HP. And you know what? I'm really looking forward to it. I don't see a title change happening at all, but I think it's going to be really, really chaotic. It's been a chaotic period of time for AEW and the world title picture. Everybody sort of gunning for Moxley, and Moxley and co gunning for everybody else as well. How do you see this one ending? I
see it with the Death Riders getting amongst it and helping Moxley keep that belt in the warming glow of their faction. I don't know who takes the belt off Moxley in the long term. I think a lot of people online think it could possibly be Swerve or Hangman Page.
Really?
Yeah, I think. Well, okay. I think despite the fact that he burned a man's house down, there is still a lot of love for Hangman Page.
I think it's down to Darby or Eddie Kingston.
Eddie Kingston would be great. Personally, I would prefer out of those two Eddie Kingston, because I'm really sorry. I know he's crashed multiple cars and thrown himself off scaffoldings for 300 days of the year. I don't buy Darby Allin as AEW World Champion.
Good of you to say that. Good of
don't. Sorry.
It's
I
fair
love
enough.
him.
It's totally fair enough. I sort of felt the same way, but totally open to being proven wrong on that one. I know you will be as well. What is it? Better
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Douglas Adams. I'd rather be happy than right any day.
That's it. And Darby is somebody who is like, he's put his body on the line and then some for AEW. He's done some really, really crazy things. I can't picture him with that belt either. But I've thought that numerous times in wrestling history in the 30 odd years that I've been watching, and I've been proven wrong. So it'd be interesting to see him as world champion. You know what? I like the really good thing about Darby, I think, is that he probably feels like an AEW guy, doesn't he?
Well, he's a pillar, isn't he?
Exactly. And
he's a right pillar, that lad.
So, I don't know. I think it's, personally, I think it's between those two. I think it's more likely than Hangman or Swerve doing it, but we'll see. Maybe there'll be a title change at World's End. You never know.
There's a lot going on behind the scenes in AEW as it pertains to Rey Fenix. A bunch of tweets over the last few days have got people's eyebrows raised, in which he's discussed getting inhumane treatment as part of AEW, not getting doctors' attention when needed. All those tweets have now been deleted, except the one where Fenix states that when the time is right, he will speak his truth. There's also been some conversation from WWE's side of things as it pertains to the Rey Fenix situation.
Yeah, WrestleVotes reporting on Backstage Pass Q&A that there was surprise about the post within WWE. They said, hearing that there were those in WWE that were surprised yesterday with the Rey Fenix tweets. Not to say that they're not interested anymore. I'm sure that didn't change, but there were some eyebrows raised over those tweets, especially if you're going to put that out there publicly. I think WWE is going to do some digging into what's going on. That doctor one, my phone started to buzz a little bit afterwards. This is WrestleVotes talking here. Just the surprise from a few WWE staffers that really didn't have a pulse on what may or may not be going on over there with Rey Fenix. He is going to be with AEW unless he is released from his contract for the foreseeable future, with reports stating that a whole year has been added on for that injury time. I can sort of... It'll be interesting to see where this goes, in that WWE, I can understand their sort of hesitation and concern about somebody who is willing to be so open vocally, even though he said, the time will come and I'll have my say at some point. He just had to say anyway on Twitter. He just put it all up there, whatever. And I guess for, a big publicly traded company like WWE, that must be a bit concerning that he was willing to just do something like that. I'm not taking sides in this or anything, but I would assume that WWE wouldn't like somebody who is willing to just go, bang, this is what's happening. Even if the end goal is him trying to get over to that company, you know what I mean?
I get that completely. I think that's probably why there was a conversation about, that's a thing that's happened. As it stands, Fenix, as you say, is with the company for what looks to be another year, unless something changes. I think at this point, when it comes to Tony Khan and AEW, they're damned if they do and they're damned if they don't when it comes to Fenix. If they let him go early, then it sets a precedent for people who are unhappy. They can just, become the squeaky wheel that gets the grease, that shoots them out of the company. But if he stays the whole course, then, a lot of people say, well, Tony set out to be the antithesis of what WWE and Vince McMahon is all about, and it's very much a Vince McMahon move to keep a guy out of spite. So whatever decision that they make here, there's gonna be ramifications from it.
You can't win.
You can't win.
I think the most sensible thing to do is put him back on TV, use him. If they keep him on for a year, right, and don't use him, I think that's disgraceful. I don't think that's on at all. However, if you use him, and what a great wrestler he is to have on your show, then I think it's a little bit more palatable, isn't it? Maybe just let's pretend this thing didn't happen. I know that must be very, very difficult to do, but put him back on our screens and hopefully use him in the way that you would have liked to use him had he not been leaving. But that's easier said than done as well, isn't it?
Or, hear me out,
Bury.
timeless Rey Fenix.
Hey! Perfect.
You're very, very welcome. Give us a throwback of Rey Fenix. Speaking of throwbacks, Saturday night's main event is this Saturday. And a lot of conversations about how this is going to be presented.
Yeah.
There's a retro feel. Jesse Ventura did an interview this week where he said like there's going to be no big lights, no big branding, no big imagery, but like wrestlers coming through the crowd was the word that he said in terms of how the wrestlers are going to be showcased. And a video dropped last night that got the world talking.
Certainly did. A video released on WWE's social media of Triple H and Cody Rhodes. There's a big box in front of them. Open the box. Cody's teleported to another
Timeless Cody Rhodes.
Something's in there. Something's in there. We didn't see exactly what it was, but it was said that this would be for one night only, and putting two and two together, it's fairly obvious that this bad boy's coming back. The Cultaholic WWE Predictions Championship.
Congratulations to Cody Rhodes becoming the Cultaholic Predictions Champion for WWE. No, it's looking like for one night only, we're getting the Winged Eagle. Look at it's such a beautiful belt.
Cody, of course, has been very, very open about the fact that he wants to bring the Winged Eagle back. Let's be honest, that's never going to happen proper because it's not got a massive WWE logo on. So when you take it on telly, you can't tell where it's from. But as a one night only thing,
like Nick Aldis holds the NWA World title. Hi, Nick.
As a one night only thing, I think it's just a really nice little thing for longtime WWE fans. I feel like this is one of the sort of things that wouldn't have necessarily happened had like Vince still been in control. It feels like now, for a long time with Vince, we were sort of shamed for being wrestling fans because we were sports entertainment fans, right? And there were exceptions to that rule, but I don't think this would have happened had Vince. It's just a nice little thing for fans, and Triple H still comes across as a proper wrestling fan.
Yes.
Who obviously respects the history of pro wrestling and WWE as a whole. So for this to be coming back, I think it's just lovely. It's just a nice little nostalgic, nice thing.
Does this kind of give away the finish for Cody's match? Because I don't now. If it is the case that he's coming out with this bad boy, I don't see him losing it.
No, nor do I. But I don't think many expected Owens to win anyway.
I think there's a bit of a groundswell of support for people for Kev to win. 'Cause I think the last multiple times, every time Kev's challenged for the belt in the last 3 or 4 years, obviously he's not done it. So it comes a point where you can't just keep making him a challenger and not have him win. So I wondered whether we get like some sort of DQ shenanigans finish for Saturday night's main event, something really violent, maybe a package pile driver on the announce table that puts into question whether Cody Rhodes can continue as champion, that sort of thing.
Are they going to do a dusty finish?
I mean, how appropriate.
I hadn't even considered it. They might do a dusty finish on this.
They might dusty finish him. They might.
I love it. I really love it. A bit extra from Fightful as well, saying Fightful selectors learned that there have been discussions to use the Winged Eagle title, and Cody Rhodes has pushed for it. Rhodes has repeatedly made clear that he wants to see it back, dating to his return back in 2022. In September 2024, Rhodes stated that he was actively working on trying to bring the title back. So I think we're going to get it for one night only. I think anything else would be a disappointment, wouldn't it? You got a big glowing box.
Gold dust, the Stardust outfit.
For one night only.
Get it on, kid. The Stardust outfit. Can you imagine if that was the thing?
That'd be so funny.
I would do a big laugh. And you could watch as it happens. Watch with Adam Pacitti on the Cultaholic YouTube channel. You're going to be there live Saturday night, aren't you? Not there, but you'll be, in
Newcastle.
In Newcastle.
In my spare room.
Watching it via the power of the internet.
Absolutely. So you can join me. You can set a reminder right now, youtube.com/cultaholic/live.
We'd like to thank the Cultaholic Predictions champion, Andy Dingle.
It's a jobber.
For letting me hold this. Do you want to hold it?
I'm not tired. No, that's bad luck. That's terrible luck. I'm not doing that.
It'd be terrible if you hold it, because then you'd never win it again. For the very latest wrestling news at any time, you can check out cultaholic.com. Stay safe.
You're a bastard. You're a bastard.
I don't mind holding it. I'm full of bad luck, mate.